I don't know if I want to do the GP. All right. I'd like to welcome everyone to our the 2023-24 school year. And we will 1.1, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You want to do?
It looks like Eric Claus is coming in, Linda. Eric Claus. Okay. That next.
All right. 1.2 is to adopt the agenda. Is there any questions, comments, a motion out there?
I move that we accept the agenda, adopt the agenda as posted.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been
I
moved
second.
and- Pardon?
She just said it again.
Oh,
Meant it so much, she said it twice.
That's right. All right. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, Jerry,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
and I also agree to our 2.2, the closed session. If there are any comments, questions, speakers, now is the time. And hearing none, we will, the board will adjourn to a closed session, which will include board members and Sherry, regarding public employment of a custodian. So at 4.3 or 4.3, 4:03, we will adjourn the meeting to go into closed session.
Okay, and I'm just gonna do a breakout room for Melissa. And us. I want to do, or do I want to put everybody else in a breakout room? I think maybe I want to put.
For Melissa, you're gonna need to put,
I want to put all you guys in a
I guess,
breakout room
and-
and just leave Melissa and us alone.
Because I think you,
I think that's what I've done before.
I think you put us in.
You can
breakout.
move breakout room. Go ahead,
Let's
Kurt.
see.
then
Okay,
if
and
you,
usually I write it right on my.
I can't remember, in terms of breakout room strategies or whatever, but last time we had I was recording and we had a breakout room, it stopped the recording. And then I needed to start it again and edit it together.
Yes, that's correct. My recollection is that.
Do you remember? Us?
Oh, because you'll
Or me.
have recorded.
We come back out, reconvene to open session, you hit the record button and start over again. Or start up again.
Yeah,
And then you have to.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm gonna put Melissa.
oh well,
and
that's all right.
us.
Just do what you gotta do. Don't worry about any of that. That's okay.
Okay, well, we're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going.
4:06.
4:06.
Okay.
But you didn't.
She's gonna get recorded.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, without
when we get our-
them returning.
Oh, yeah. we-
Until then.
Who's up first today?
All right, guys. Oops. Sorry, we're actually got a lot.
breakout room. Okay. Okay. It's okay, you didn't take in the minutes. Yeah. We can continue to read our big book. All right, we are going to reconvene to open session at 4:12. And no action was taken, so therefore there's nothing to report on. So we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is 4.1, consideration of approval of warrants and payroll for NU Humboldt. 4.2, consideration of warrants batches 0623, 0630, 0716, 0720, and 0727, and payroll for NU Siskiyou. 4.3, consideration of approval of minutes for the June 28th and June 29th board meetings. 4.4, consideration of resignations, hires, leaves, and change of assignments. Are there any questions on any of those or comments?
No.
All right, and I see Melissa is shaking her head no as well. So, is there a motion?
Since she's got a sketchy, I guess I'll be initiating. I move that we approve.
Is there a second?
I second that.
As posted,
To
as posted. Thank you. Is there a second?
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those carried.
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And I also agree. Motion carries. Moving on to public comments. 5 point comments by the public. Under this item, the public is invited to address regarding items that are not on tonight's agenda. Please concise, brief, and limited to 3 minutes. The board is not under the law to take action on matters that are not on the agenda. Should the public pertain to a charge or complaint against an employee, United Humboldt Charter School or Northern United Siskiyou Charter School, urges the speaker to utilize the school's written complaint procedures. The public will have an opportunity to comment on all agenda items as are heard. Are there any public comments?
Just one, I introduced Kelly as our new chief business official, but she's also officer of the corporation. She is now filling the financial officer role.
Treasurer.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Welcome.
Verification.
And just so you know, too, we already changed it with the state,
Yeah,
the
sure.
Secretary of State.
Sure.
And thank you for keeping your comments brief and concise and limited. I appreciate that. Oh, I know. Yes, I appreciate that. All right, moving on to action items. 6.1, approve agreement between Eureka City Schools and NU Humboldt 2023-24 school year.
Yeah, and you guys know we did this last. We have Eureka City School as the vendor for our meals. Cutton Learning Center, Cutton Resource Center, which is like the home-based independent study student learning center. We did just lunches with them and kind of we did these shelf-stable kind of breakfast things. This year, we're gonna do breakfast with it. And so you see the information for on that, and that delivery fee, which is actually the same price per meal and the same price for the delivery fee even.
Cool.
More for the year just because we're adding breakfast.
Cool.
But the reason we determined that is we looked at the cost of.
Is it just me or are they frozen?
Yep.
Yeah, they
All right.
froze up.
Okay, thanks, guys. I'm gonna text her.
Good idea.
I sent a comment in chat. I don't know how helpful that is.
Was everything okay with Kirk? He had to leave?
Yeah, he had something he had to do. I think he just got back, actually. I just
Oh,
heard him right.
Hey, you're frozen. Okay, all right. Okay,
Dang.
yeah, all right, I'm telling everybody on Zoom. Okay, okay, bye. Yes, they know they got kicked out. They're rejoining.
Oh, good.
Hi, Julia. I hope you've had a good summer.
Hi Rebecca. Hi everybody. Yeah, it's much quieter when the big kids aren't here.
Yeah.
I actually get to like have a thought beginning, middle, end. It's
End, yeah.
fabulous. Fabulous. But you know, the teachers are coming around now, so we're getting excited to have them come back.
Nice, us too.
Yeah, you're really excited for them to leave, and then
Yes.
you don't miss them for a little while, and then you start to go, oh, it'll be nice to see them again.
Yes, yeah.
New year, new
Yeah.
year.
All right,
It's
looks like
good.
they're back.
Oh, good.
All right. I wonder why I kicked them out. So strange.
Can you hear
Mm-hmm.
Melissa?
her head yet?
Okay.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
All right.
sorry about
Why is
that.
Frozen over there.
Oh, no,
See it?
yeah.
That's the curse.
Oh, you're done anyway?
Mhm.
Oh, good timing. I need to.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
Okay,
I think we're good to go.
till the next time.
Until the next time. All right. Are there any comments or questions regarding 6.1? Okay, hearing none. A motion.
I move to approve the food vendor agreement between Eureka City Schools and Northern United Humboldt Charter School for the 2020-2024 school year.
Is there
I
a
approve,
second?
agree.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, Jerry?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And I also agree. Motion carries. 6.2, approval of food vendor agreement between Beginnings Incorporated and United Humboldt for 2023-24 school year.
Again, this is who we've had in the past vend for our Bryceland Learning Center. And you see the agreement in there. We did breakfast and lunch with them last year as well. So same.
Great facility.
Yeah.
No delivery fees.
What was that?
I was
Repeat
noting
that,
that there was no
please.
delivery fee.
Yeah, no delivery fee because it's at the same location.
Any other questions or comments? And hearing none, is there a motion?
I move to approve the food vendor agreement between Beginnings, Inc. and Northern United Humboldt Charter School for the 2023-2024 school year.
And a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor, Jerry,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
and I also agree. Motion carries. 6.3, approval of the consolidated application and insurances with all associated data, collections, and reporting requirements for 2023-20 school year. Well, I added that school year for Northern United Humboldt.
All right. That's the title because you guys remember there's more than one part to the Con App, and we label it like that. We don't have to bring it back every time there's a new part. But the most important part for this is the actual application. And in your packet, I think I put the actual application. Well, this one's for Humboldt. I just gave the application for Humboldt. And that was added. That was one of the ones that was in an attachment email after the fact. I gave you like the draft versions and then gave you the cleaned up version afterwards. But the consolidated app is the application that schools complete to request federal funds. So Title II, Title IV, all of the title funds, all the federal title funds that we qualify for is what we asked for in that consolidated app.
Any other comments, questions?
Pretty straightforward.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve the consolidated application and assurances, associated data collectors and reporting requirements for 2023-24 for Northern United Humboldt Charter School.
And a second?
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor, Jerry,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
and I also agree. Motion carries. 6.4, approval of the consolidated application and insurances with all associated collections and reporting requirements, 2023-24, Northern United Siskiyou.
Okay, and this is the same thing, except for with this one, I actually gotten the whole completed packet back from SCOE already. So I went ahead and included not only the application, but all those kind of additional documents that were in there regarding how much funds we were getting for a couple of the titles.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion?
I move to approve the consolidated application assurances with all associated data collections and reporting requirements for 2023-2024 for Northern United Siskiyou Charter School.
And a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, Jerry,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
and I also agree. Motion carries. 6.5, approval of the Northern United Charter School Independent Study Policy.
So this is one of the policies the board has to review and approve every year. So I always put it on the August board. There has been no changes to this policy since it was last adopted last year in August 2022. So it's exactly the same as it was. And you may remember last year it did have to be amended because of it was what was the regular bill with the budget last year. There were some changes to independent study kind of last minute. And so we did have to change it then, but nothing, knock on wood, to independent study since then.
Perfect. Any questions, comments? And hearing none, is there a motion?
I move
I motion,
to,
Oh.
go ahead.
sorry, I just felt like I probably should. Sorry. I motion to approve the Northern United Charter School Independent Study Policy.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And moved and seconded. All those in favor? Jerry?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And I also agree. Motion carries. 6.6, review of the Northern United Charter School Universal Meal Policy.
And I apologize, I realize on the agenda I didn't write reading, I did in the packet, this is a first reading. So, you're not expecting action on it because we have kind of had the procedure where if it's a brand new policy, we bring it through twice in case there's any, so that it gives the opportunity to the public to comment on it. So this was, the state has now gone to a universal meal program, meaning all of our meals, so breakfast and lunch, are all free to all students, regardless of whether or not they qualify for free or reduced lunch. And so because of that, we needed a universal meal policy to spell that out. And so we had a policy already that talked about those were going to cost, so this one, it talks about, the process of this universal program. And this was, I got this draft from Young Minnie and Cord. I asked them if they had a meal policy. And so they gave us this, and, Linda went through, put it into our formatting, and I don't know. I think that's about all there is to say. I don't know if you guys saw anything that stood out to you, or any amendments or anything. Unless you see any changes, I'll bring this back next month exactly as it is for a vote. Melissa, did you see anything?
I didn't notice any errors I was mostly just taking in the information.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys know if you see anything between now and then, just shoot me an email if you see any edits or anything.
Right. So what do we do as far as no action?
I think we just, I don't know, I think we just do anything.
Okay, moving on.
Because I'll bring it back, and I say that in the board packet, come back at the September meeting. I just forgot to write first reading on it.
For the record that it's the first reading.
Yeah.
Therefore,
I
no
have it
action is taken.
Yeah, you have it down already.
Did you write that?
So I don't think, we don't have on it, because really the heading of that title is action items to be considered. Well, we're
Okay.
considering it, not to vote on it
Okay.
right now.
And so,
As review, not approved, so.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly, I
right.
put review.
And-
Maybe that's why I didn't put first reading. I don't know. You're right, thanks for pointing that out.
and so with 6.6, review it, and it will come back to our next meeting in September for the second reading. And now, moving on to 6.7, the approval, see, there we go, of the NU Charter School Smoke-Free Schools Policy.
Okay, so this was a policy we already had though I have to say it may have been the saddest policy we have. It is literally one sentence. This, I put the current one in your packet as well as the redo. And the reason that there's a redo is because on the Siskiyou side, we're joining in with their tobacco use prevention education 2B program. And to be part of that program, to get the assistance of the county office that they do for that, tobacco use prevention, we had to have a policy that included specific key things. And so that's why we've added things to our policy that meets the needs of being a member of the 2P program through SCOE.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is
I also
pretty
went ahead and
specific.
did that MOU
Uh-huh.
with Siskiyou too in there, so you could see what kinds of things that the campus will be providing to us and what kinds of things we'll be doing as part of their of the 2P grant.
Yes, it is. One,
I know.
2 lines.
Yeah.
Are there any questions or comments?
So we're using the second set, right, for both schools. Our policy is this more thorough page, E20, right?
Yes, and so, it's a Northern United Charter Schools policy, meaning it applies to both of the schools.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? And hearing none, is there a motion?
I move to approve the NUCS smoke schools policy.
And a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Jerry?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And I also agree. Motion carries. Moving to discussion items, 7.1, 2023-24 annuals.
Okay, so you guys know that I put this on here as a discussion item in August, and then in September, we would have it on the agenda to vote on. Just as to facilitate the discussion in the background, I listed what our goals were for the 22-23 school year. And you guys remember that those were based on what Humboldt's LCAP goals are. And, they're not word for word exactly the same LCAP goals. Humboldt and Siskiyou don't have word for word the same goals. Siskiyou has 3 and Humboldt has 2. And so what I, did in the past is kind of, combined them in a way so that it kind of addresses all of it in 3 goals for the year. So those were the 22-23 goals, and if we wanted to keep that same, keep our goals the same as our LCAP goals, then this is what I would recommend. If you guys like you want to move away from that for this year, then entertain some different goals. I will say, you might remember we adopted the LCAP in June. This is the last year of this LCAP. LCAPs are 3 years, and this school year is going to be the last year that these would be the same goals potentially, that because it will be a whole new plan, a whole new 3-year plan. There might be different goals, like Siskiyou might go to 2, but that's the following year. So thoughts on keeping them the same?
One of the Siskiyou and Humboldt are different. The dynamics are different, and it's I mean, these are broad general goals. One thing, and I don't know, I don't have the statistics, and it may not be that crucial. You would know, Linda would know. But in my recollection, the attendance in Siskiyou is not like it is in Humboldt. Am I wrong?
Yeah, the attendance has been low, like the percentage to ADA has been lower in Siskiyou than Humboldt, but the chronic absenteeism has been worse in Humboldt than Siskiyou.
Oh, okay.
So we have more people that are missing 10% or more of their enrolled time with us than we do in Siskiyou. But in Siskiyou, all, you know, as a whole, the attendance is lower than in Humboldt.
Right. So, that's a, absenteeism is more than just acting the ADA, as you know. So if they're not classroom in a seat, they're not receiving instruction.
Mhm.
So that potentially can impact scores because they're just not getting it, or if they're behind, how do you get them brought up to meet the standard and, you know, whatever CS. So do you perceive that as major thing that we could focus on? And then, so therefore, let's try to wordsmith so that, you know, we draw attention to
Yeah.
what can we do to encourage more student engagement. And I realize because of their age, it's not just the student themselves, it's the families. And I mean, it's just a universal problem that has to just pop up. We know that.
Right.
And so is there a way to characterize, phrase that incorporated into a goal so that we can acknowledge it and then therefore if we acknowledge it, we're trying to come up with a plan to get a grip on it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least, you know, try.
Yeah.
And then if it's, you know, if we still struggle, but we're at least trying.
We're focusing on, yeah. So goal 2 is the one that would fall under, because you're right, that's like kind of school climate and engagement, both student and parent. And so on the LCAP, that is where we have, you know, very specific actions that we're doing related to attendance and chronic absenteeism. That's where we report the metrics, and that's where the actions are, as under that goal 2. So if we wanted to specifically kind of call it out here, that's where I would recommend putting it. So, you know, we could always do something like Northern United Charter Schools will improve school climate with emphasis on social and emotional well-being of students, including improving school attendance or something, and improving parent community involvement. You know what I mean? Like we can embed it into the language that's there.
Yeah, because you know, I mean, these are intended to be broad.
Absolutely.
And that's fine, but you know, in that broadness, are we kind
I
of?
like that idea, Jerry. I have to tell you what, we had an admin meeting today and we were talking about the fall summit. And we actually, this was a big part of our conversation, was talking about what we refer to as our missed assignment policy. You guys know, we've been through that.
Yeah.
And our chronic absenteeism, and you know, we were talking about how we're going to be addressing that at the fall summit. So adding the fact that, you know, this is something that we may be putting into our annual goals, in addition to it being already in our LCAP, shows that we're putting emphasis on it.
Yeah, because Rosemary knows, you know, from back in the day of, in the classroom, if you have students that are absent, you know, it's like, you keep going on with your lesson plan, and if the student misses multiple days, then it's like, you're trying to bring them up to speed, but it's just a lot more work
And they
for,
never catch up,
um,
rarely, I should say.
for you, and I mean, there's a lot of energy and stuff expended trying to, and you know, and stuff happens, and you know,
And the
goals and
frustration of the
sicknesses.
student,
Right, so,
you know, the older ones, they know that they are not at the same level or where their classmates are. And they know that they've missed it.
Melissa has her hand up.
Oh, Melissa,
Hi. So I think that's a great idea also. I feel like goal 2 is so big already and has so many things in it. And I don't know if this is possible, but it feels so easy and comprehensible to say in goal 1, Northern United Charter Schools will improve student attendance and performance outcomes in all academic areas. So I see how you're saying it's connected to the LCAP, but it just feels like kind of a cluttered, like a lot in goal 2, since it has to do with parent community involvement, yeah, environment, climate, and attendance. That makes sense.
Yeah,
As well.
yeah, it's got a lot of words already, doesn't it?
and
So
they're
anyways,
all
that was just my
addressing something
small
that's
input.
important.
And attendance will help improve performance outcomes and in the academic areas, I feel like, so.
Yeah, I believe
oh
that.
yeah,
I believe that.
But I think it does relate to both, because if they're not feeling that it's a positive environment and feeling socially and emotionally well, then they're not going to want to come to school. So it's related to both for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is all a package of what we're aspiring to reach. So,
It might be just as simple of a problem as making parents and students aware of how important it is to like report that they are attending, you know, like I know that, for instance, as a parent, we have these papers, we're completely homeschooled, we just have these papers that we have to fill out that we're attending school at home every week, every day that there is school. If I, for instance, don't fill that out and the teacher doesn't get it on time, then that's not reported attendance. So, you know, just thinking of different various reasons that our attendance might be low.
Okay, well, so I think I'm hearing consensus to adding something about attendance in either goal 1 or 2. So I will definitely try to wordsmith that into one of the places, one of the areas. And, you know, Melissa, maybe what I'll do is like change the wording, like maybe take out something else that's in 2 or something to try to make it not be so many words. But I'll try to embed that into one of those 2 goals for bringing it back. Anything else that you guys can think of? Any other thing you would want to call out?
I
These are
was
so
thinking that it is really good seeing that we have one more year on this LCAP to maybe keep it pretty streamlined the same, but that we should probably start brainstorming all together, like not like last minute of next year deciding new goals, but maybe revisiting.
that would be something to do as a whole group in person.
Well, and the other thing too is, so we have, both schools have a parent advisory committee that is like kind of our LCAP advisory committee. It's made up of different parents and staff, and we meet a few times a year to kind of start to talk about the LCAP. And so it was what the school site council was.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's a
because we're gonna be doing a whole new plan next year, I anticipate we're probably gonna have a lot of meetings this year with that group. As we're discussing it there, we can bring those conversations
Right.
here.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
That's, and as it should be.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
As it should be,
Yeah.
because, you're involving, the community, at the different areas
right.
and,
They
They
can
know
see
for
what
them.
we can't.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
Okay,
That's
thank
really
you
good.
guys.
sure, okay.
Good, okay. So, moving on to reports. 8.1 is the enrollment and attendance report, and that was in our packets. Are there any questions or comments?
You guys know that this one is like,
Yeah.
this one is like a moving target. This is so early, but I kept the same date so you'd have that comparison of
Yeah.
August 1st.
It bodes well.
I know when I was in Siskiyou on Monday, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Greta, it wasn't Greta, actually, it was Vivian. In Wairika, Vivian told me that they have a big stack of enrollments that they hadn't sent in yet because Colleen still wanted to go through some of them. So I know that there's lots more that aren't even in here yet, but this is just a good comparison of the same crazy time last year.
Right.
And then obviously no attendance yet.
And no attendance, no. Any other comments or questions? Moving on to 8.2, the fiscal report, which was also in our packets. Are there any questions or comments?
This is where you have to grill Kelly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or she could just stand up and give a brief overview.
A dance or a
Yeah,
song?
yeah.
If everything seemed to be, does everything seem to be in order? Is there something that you're wanting to keep an eye on as time moves forward, or not? Then it is what it is, and we're doing good.
As far as keep an eye on, just the remaining ESSER funds in the Siskiyou budget, we've already spent all those down in the Humboldt budget. So I think mostly just monitoring those with closing out 2022, 23, and making sure we have enough for what we're planning to do for next year. And learning the new system in Siskiyou has been fun.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I would like to make one more comment. This is about Kelly. I just want to point out, like, one of the things she's already, like, she said this on, I think, probably her first day or something, and I was like, of course, yes, this is perfect. But you know how, well, I'm sure you guys know this, you know how, like, every year we have the MOU, in fact, that will be on the September board meeting, the MOU between Humboldt and Siskiyou, because a lot of employees are paid in one, and then well, that happens sometimes, very rarely on some of our bills. Like, sometimes invoice is paid through one school and then the other school reimburses. We try not to do that much. We try to, like, just keep it separate, but sometimes it does necessitate doing one. And, we've always talked about the best way to track that. Like, how do we make sure we're really keeping a good eye on that? And immediately Kelly said, well, I know exactly what to do, put a management code on everything that, is related to that, so then we can run a report and always make sure. And it's like, yes, that is brilliant. I mean, it's something so simple, but because she is so good at this kind of thing, it just came to her so quickly. So I just wanted to,
All right.
I wanted to say that, like, just how pleased we are. So thank you, Kelly. Thank you.
That's a good note to end that on. Moving on to 8.3, the director's report.
Oh, man.
What do you got?
You didn't sit down your 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was 3. And it's funny because I want to say I don't really have a lot, but because so much has been going on. You know, I didn't do school reports this time since school hasn't started, but I think I feel like I have to use this opportunity to say something. So, you know, in Siskiyou, we made the move from the Mount Shasta into the new, and I'm glad Greta's in there because she and Kirk and another employee, Mount Shasta employee, Lily, have spent the entire summer painting the entire inside of the building, including the ceiling, which she's waving to us. And getting everything set up. On Monday, Greta was showing me like the areas that, you know, she's already like getting all ready. And, you know, it's hard to do these kinds of things when the teachers aren't around, when they're on summer break, you know, because she doesn't know how they want the classroom set up this way or that way. And, you know, and so I just really want to commend them for all of the work they've been doing. You know, they've been working on getting a new sign ordered for it. They had somebody out there, he came when I was there actually to work on the sprinkler system because they couldn't figure out the sprinkler system. The grass is all brown now. And, you know, just like all of these little things that are happening with the move, that they've really been working hard on. So thank you for that, Greta. Thank you for doing all that.
Yeah, thanks for
And
the
Melissa,
acknowledgement, Sherry.
what do you think so far, Melissa?
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice facility. So that was something I wanted to say about Mount Shasta. And then I was over there in Siskiyou County on Monday because the county office had like a welcome back breakfast for the administrators. And so they have reorganized the county office. So it's a new county superintendent now. The old one, Kermit, retired, and his assistant superintendent, Alan, got elected. And so he was interim for a minute, and now he is official. He got elected. Anyway, he has reorganized the county office, and I just have to say it is they're really, really moving in the right direction. So that is good. They have hired so many new staff members. They're filling out their departments that before, like, you know, was like, and I know it's because they're getting more money, you know, to be able to do this, but just they're really doing a good job. And so that was exciting to see. They introduced us to all of the new staff members there. They've been kind of doing some minor remodeling in the county office. It looks really good. It's nice to see what's happening over in Siskiyou County Office of Education. So that's probably, and then I visited Wairika Learning Center too. You know, we've hired so many new staff members. There's a lot of shifting right now about where everybody's desk is going to be. And as usual, as is true for every facility we have, not enough office space. You know, so like Wairika, the new staff, you know, they're having to shift around. Who's like Kirk no longer is going to have an office in Wairika because he gave his office up for the counselor to have an office, you know, and things like that. But so that's moving forward good. And then over on the Humboldt side, things are moving forward here really well too. Lots of hiring still happening, interviewed today still for a position. Oh, one thing too, on the Siskiyou side, we have one special ed teacher on that side. She let us know Friday she's not returning. Friday. Yep, no warning at all. So we have that position posted. We've reached out to a previous special ed teacher there to see if they wanted to, and they said they had just taken a job someplace else if we had known earlier. But anyway, so that's, we have a plan in place. If we're not able to hire somebody, we're going to do the same thing we did last time we didn't have somebody, and that's a credentialed special ed teacher on this side. It's going to be Zooming with students in the interim until we have somebody hired. So that's Siskiyou. On the Humboldt side, we have 2 athletic directors this year because we're adding so many new sports that Kathy didn't want to take all of it on. I mean, she has like 30 students also, you know. So 2 people are now athletic director. They're splitting it, and they got together and put together like a whole athletic packet, which has gone out now to all the students, you know, all of the forms they need to fill out, the physical stuff, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that's going out. I told you we've been having lots of planning already for getting together for the fall summit. You know, people from Siskiyou are all coming over to Humboldt. They've booked their hotel rooms already, and it's going to happen at Sequoia Conference Center at HCOE. That's where the Fall Summit will be held.
Wow.
It'll be 2 days, the Wednesday and Thursday. I think it's the 23rd and 24th. Tuesday, the 22nd is going to be new employee orientation. The morning is all new employees. The afternoon is teachers only. We hired a new food program person, and Linda and I are going to be spending a lot of time with that person on the afternoon of the 21st. That person, we're going to spend some time with the 21st and the 22nd. Trying to think what else I wanted to say about the Humboldt side. There's already been a staff meeting at Cutton Learning Center and a staff meeting at Eureka Learning Center. We are growing big time on the Humboldt side. You saw that we were up like 10 from this same time last year. And it's really, we're going to be bursting at the seams for sure. Like Eureka Learning Center is up to 70 students. They were at around 50 last year. That's a big increase. And I think Cutton Learning Center is the same. So there's, definitely an increase in enrollment at a couple of the centers. I think that's probably it for now. I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff, but that's.
How about Arcata?
Arcata Learning Center, it's kind of going through some changes too. The center itself really isn't like, same basic, same staffing and same students and all of that. But we're using that actually as overflow for office space for those of us, who like the new hires that we didn't have office space for. So, we already had an intervention coordinator, and we hired her at the end of last year. And her specialty is English language arts. Well, we hired a math intervention coordinator now too. Their offices are both going to be at the Arcata Learning Center. So we're using that as kind of overflow. One of our new independent study teachers' offices is going to be there as well. I'm trying to think if that's really all the overflow. Our community school coordinator person on the Humboldt side is going to have an office over here. Our special ed director is moving over to my side where the counselors work, because the counselors are going to just be out in the field rather than here. I don't know. I think that's about it for Arcata. A little bit of changes at Riceland too, actually. We reduced by a teacher because of the numbers were down a little bit. And so it was, and Julia, jump in if you want to, it was like a TKK room, a 1, 2, a 4, and a
3,
5,
4.
6.
Yeah.
And a 5, 6. And so now we have a TKK, a 1, 2, a 3, 4, 6.
Yes.
No fifth graders. Oh. No fifth graders. A very small number of sixth graders, maybe 1, 2,
4.
So 4. Okay. So they're going to be in the class. They've combined, and so one less teacher. And we'll see what happens as those ones kind of come up and move through. Some years it's like that when you have a really small location. Some years you just don't have a bunch in one particular grade level. Yeah. So you have to have weird groupings like that. I know I have taught like that before too. Okay, good. I think that's everything. That's way more than 3 minutes.
I forgot to set my time.
Oh, man.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Sherry? Okay, we're going to move on to 8.4, the board report. Jerry, you have anything?
No.
Melissa?
Nothing yet. I'm just excited to see this place come together. It looks really nice. I tried to get over here to do some painting, but I never really coordinated. So sorry, guys. It looks great.
Good. And I have nothing for this month. So we'll move on to our next board meeting, 9.1, possible agenda items.
Well, we've listed a few, so we'll bring back that universal meals policy, the goals, and then the MOU between Humboldt and Siskiyou. And then I don't even know what all else. I feel like, maybe curriculum is on the September one. Trying to think what else is on the September one.
Well, one would be the, I brought it up at the last meeting. that
Another the actuals. Okay, thank you.
September is the time when we can ask, talk
Yes.
about the terms.
Yep,
And
yep,
then
yep,
ask
yep.
those
I have that
who are
too.
coming
Yep.
up, expiration
Yep.
in December, what their intentions are.
Board
plan.
terms, yep, I've got that too, yes. Yep. Anything else to add?
No, nothing, no. I just thought of something I need to say to Sherry. Or actually to both of you.
With a little laugh, okay? Our 9.2, our next board meeting will be September 13th. I will probably not be at that meeting, but we'll see. And so at this time, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and adjourn the meeting at 5:03.
Thank you, everyone.
No,
You
Carol
guys.
will need to-
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
How's Carol doing?
It's a slow process.